This is your weekly moment of growth. What is going on, everybody? I just want to take a couple minutes today because I am currently in Washington, D.C. for Justin Kavanaugh's Mastermind, presenting on the art of storytelling. And when I got this topic from Justin, I started to think to myself, what is this world becoming? What are we evolving, right? So as podcasts grow, people are consuming more long-form content. You know, they're listening to 45 minutes, 60 minutes. And if you're listening to Joe Rogan, you're listening to hours of content, hours of an interview. And I personally have interviewed over 110 people. And some are good at telling their story, and some aren't very good at telling their story. And I started to question, is there an art form? Is there a way to tell your story, to engage an audience, no matter what your story is? So this room at the Mastermind is filled with entrepreneurs and gym owners and some of the top people in sports training. And I started to think to myself, like, if they were to pitch themselves to a podcast, how would they do that? Would they just say, hey, I'm a successful entrepreneur? That doesn't sound very interesting. But if they dive into the things they overcame, if they dive into their own personal story, they're then able to connect with an audience. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I really believe in the evolution of this world. And I think at some point in at least my lifetime, sales is going to be obsolete. And I believe that the way we're going to grow businesses and grow brands is by being vulnerable and being open and sharing our story and connecting with the world. You see, as social media grows and we're connecting more and more with the world, our story becomes the important part. People want to buy from and connect with people they trust. So how do you get people to trust you? You get people to trust you by opening up, being vulnerable, and telling your story. And you're probably thinking, Justin, these moments of growth are usually so motivational, and now you're trying to teach me something. But I'm teaching you something that I believe can change your perspective internally as well. I think often people hear my story or these stories of people that they admire, and they go, wow, that's so inspiring. And they think, I don't have a story like that. I've done nothing amazing. I haven't accomplished my goals yet. I haven't overcome massive difficulties. But here's the truth. You have overcome your own difficulties. No matter how large they seem to you, they might be much larger to the world. Now, as I've told my story probably thousands of times in my lifetime now of, my mom overcoming addiction and my 1.7 GPA in high school and my dad being in jail, it becomes pretty easy to say. And to me, it doesn't sound that big. But when people hear the story for the first time, they're blown away by the things that I've done in my life. And they were blown away by the story before I even really accomplished things like being a top-ranked podcaster in the world. So what I want you guys to do is reflect on your story. First of all, applaud yourself for overcoming the things that you have. Because I think that's something we have to do. We have to celebrate those wins. We also have to understand that us sharing our story is extremely important. And what do I mean by that? I had a guest in the show, I think it was episode number 80, named Preston Smiles. And Preston shared on the show that at any given time, there are 75,000 people in this world that need to hear your story specifically from you. And meaning, like, your story can change their life. Your story can save their life. Your story can help them get to where it is they need to go. So I want to first encourage you and say your story is extremely important. And then I encourage you to begin sharing your story, even if it's with friends, family, loved ones. You don't have to go on a big podcast to share it, but start to share it and write it out and think about how you can truly tell the story in an interesting way. There's an arc, right? So with me, I say when I was a senior in high school, if there was a superlative for least likely to succeed, that would be me. So I grab their attention immediately from the beginning and they go, what does he mean? And then I go into details and I say I had a 1.7 GPA, my mom was battling a 20-year pill addiction, and my dad was in jail during the most formative years of my life. And then I take them through the journey. So essentially you grab their attention and then you take them through the journey of the ups and downs, and you end on a massive high to inspire, to engage, to teach, whatever it may be. So my challenge for you this week is to start telling your story, because your story is important and it's time for you to begin impacting the world. I want to thank you guys for spending the last couple minutes with me. I look forward to hearing your story. I'll see you next week.